Yo, chat. Yo, chat, chat. Bro, give me like 2 minutes. Hold on. There's no music intro. Well, I don't think. Actually, I can play one song, but I gotta do something real quick. Give me like 2 seconds. I got you guys. I got you. I got you. Hold on.
Alright, run it. I never gave a fuck. I never gave a fuck about what niggas thought about me.
Yo, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I gotta do something real quick.
They can't comprehend or even come close to understanding him. I guess if I was born, they would love me more. Guess if I was simple in the mind, everything would be fine. Maybe if I was a jerk to girls, instead of being nice and speaking kind words, then maybe it would be okay to say then I wasn't a good guy to begin with. But my mind is all crazy. They got me thinking I ain't human, like I came in from above. Feeling like an airplane in the sky, but then they say I'm crazy. They got me thinking I ain't human, like I came in from above. Feeling like a bird sitting high. I'll be that man on the moon. I'm that man on the moon, and I'ma do what I do. So do you, hey. I'll be posted with my blunt and a broom. I do. I'm that man on the moon. I'm up on the moon.
It's like I would play all my stuff for everybody, and all my people give me feedback, and they'd be like, yo, why your shit sounds so different? You know what I'm saying? Why your shit like on another level? Why does it sound so different? Like that's a bad thing. And I'd be like, why not, nigga?
Close my eyes, high in the dark, it's a curtain call. Come on, all I do is try to make it simple. The ones that make it complicated never get congratulated. I'm something different, all aspects. Don't want a woman just to love her assets. I still wipe her up, even with her flat chest.
All right.
Hurt, but that's a past
1 minute.
tense.
Let me just send this real quick.
I be thinking that I'm wrong, cause they used to call me lame. My swag was a little different, but then my mind is hazy. I be thinking that I'm wrong, but they the ones who blame. I got the last laugh, nigga. I be that man on the moon. I'm that man on the moon, and I'ma do what I do. So do you, hey. I'll be posted with my blunt and a broom. I do. I'm that man on the moon. I'm up on the moon.
It may not mean nothing to y'all, but understand nothing was done for me. So I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine. I'm shutting shit down in the mall and telling that girl she the one for me. And I ain't even planning the call. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine.
Last name ever, first name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with. Started off local, but thanks to all the haters, I know G4 pilots on a first name basis. In your city, faded off the brown. Nino, she insists she got more class. We know, swimming in the money, come and find me. Nemo, if I was at the club, you know I balled. Chemo,
dropped a mixtape, that shit sounded like an album. Who'da thought a countrywide tour be the outcome? Labels want my name beside an X like Malcolm. Everybody got a deal, I did it without one. Yeah, nigga, I'm about my business. Killing all these rappers, you would swear I had a hit list. Everyone who doubted me is asking for forgiveness. If you ain't been a part of it, at least you got to witness. Bitches, it may not mean nothing to y'all, but understand nothing was done for me, so I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine. I'm shutting shit down in the mall and telling that girl she the one for me, and I ain't even planning the call. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine. Ever Mr. West is in the building, ain't no question who about to kill him. I used to have hood dreams, big fame, big change. I stuck my dick inside this life until that bitch came and went hard all fall like the ball.
All right, yo.
Just so I could make it rain all spring. Y'all seen my story, my glory. I had raped the game young. You could call it statutory when a nigga blow up. They gon' build statues for me. Old money, Benjamin Button. What nothing? Super bad chicks giving me big love. And you would think I ran the world like Michelle's husband. You would think these niggas know me.
All right.
When they really does.
Ciao, what's up, bro? My bad. Just had to do something real quick. Hope you guys doing good, man. Today is a very, 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 very special stream. Not special, but it'll be a different stream for sure. It won't be like the same typical stuff we do, you know. It'll be more of like I'll say more of like a webinar type vibe. You know, you come in, you ask questions. Let me just turn my camera on real quick, and then we'll get started here. Where's my camera? Where is my camera? Unique stream. Chat, please do not ask, you know. Hold on. I'm gonna show you guys some examples of some questions that are good versus like some questions that are like, you know, like if I'm being honest with you, you know, I've been training for a long time, so I know which questions will really help you versus which questions are like just kind of useless. Like if you're asking me like, how long did it take you to become profitable? I can tell you off rip, man. It doesn't do anything. I'm being realistic. I'm just saying like those questions, like, you know, it doesn't really bring value or doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form. So like the questions I kind of want, or questions that would be preferred and will actually help you, are more of like, you know, training questions. Like Don, for instance, like, oh Don, I see that you draw your support resistance like so and so, right? So how are you able to find these levels? Like, you know, questions that like that actually have like meaning to them, not just like how long did it take to become profitable. How many accounts did you blow? You know, because again, everyone is different. You know, everyone's personality is different. Everyone went through has gone through a different journey. So not everyone's gonna blow the same amount of accounts. You know, I blew 25, 30 accounts. Do you want to blow that many accounts too? You probably don't, right? You probably don't want to blow any accounts. But just because I blew those accounts to get profitable doesn't mean you have to now blow 20, 30 accounts to get profit, right? So yeah, like you want to ask very like questions that will really help you in trading. And again, I will you know, I guess I will pick and choose which ones I'll answer, but yeah, just type whatever you guys want to type, and then we'll go through it. Let me just send my Zoom link real quick, chat, and then I got you guys. Also, Zoom members, let me play music. Zoom members, you guys will have access to ask questions on stream, but I want you to kind of type it in the Zoom chat first. So if you type it in the Zoom chat, I will see, you know, if I can answer it. And then if it's good, I'll pull up on stream. I'll unmute you. So I'll let you ask it. And then hopefully someone in the chat has the same like concerns as you. Yeah. And then hopefully I'll answer for everyone. But that's how I'll do it. Because if I just unmute everybody, it's going to be a mess. You know, it's going to be one person's asked this and there's someone's going to ask this. And then it's going to turn into a convo, right? So I want to make sure, you know, everyone has a chance to answer or to ask their question. And it's all fair as long as you're asking the right questions, right? Let me just pop up Discord chat and then we'll get started here. But how you guys feeling though? It's a Sunday, market opening. I usually don't trade Sundays, so I don't trade till Monday morning. hopefully you guys enjoy it though. I mean, I'm trying to make it as enjoyable as possible, right, for you guys. So hopefully it's not boring, or you guys, you know, hopefully you guys gain value from the streams. Now, where is my music? Ah, there it is. Our typical NY music. My bad. Oh, there it is. You guys hear that, chat? It should be good, right? All right, cool. So, good morning. Yeah, so I went through the what's kind of gonna happen here. I'll just read chat and treat it like a normal stream, you know. Hopefully, we'll get through what we gotta get through. Okay, so do you guys want me to do a breakdown first this week or no? Like, I'll start with that. Like, do you guys want me to do a breakdown, or do you want me to do it tomorrow? Because I'm gonna do one regardless tomorrow. You know, regardless on Monday morning when I stream, I'm gonna do a breakdown. So it's up to you guys. If you guys want me to do the breakdown, I'll do it. If not, then we'll go straight to the questions. I'll be on here for maybe an hour. I'll try to keep it to an hour. You know, as many questions as possible within an hour. If it goes to 2 hours, then it goes to 2. But an hour would be preferred. You know, a little refresher for the week. You know. Tomorrow, okay, tomorrow it is. tomorrow breakdown. All right, cool. So, because my breakdowns are long, right? It's like 30 minutes long, so I don't want to. Don, don't you regret maintaining a position that it goes from example from 1870 to 2000? That swing could have doubled your account. Okay, so starting off with this one, I guess. So when it comes to like me and regretting like closing my positions too early, it's a little tough for me to do so. It's a little tough for me to like regret my positions, just because I've been trading for a very long time, right? So it got to a point where there's no regret in any position that I have anymore, because I've seen the markets move for so long now. I've seen years and years of market cycles, so I understand what market cycles are. I understand the markets are going to move again tomorrow. They're going to open up tomorrow. They're going to close again tomorrow. I'm going to have another day where price will move forward 500 pips, right? If I miss that day, cool, right? But I understand that because I've had experience in the markets. So for me, there's no regret, because I understand that, okay, if I close the trade off and I only made, or if I made whatever, $5,000 on it, right? If I were to hold, sure, I could have made 10,000, but I can just look for another opportunity. It's not the end of the world, right? We have another day to trade. So like the faster you sort of like break yourself out of that cycle, that like shoulda, woulda, coulda cycle, the better off you'll be. You will never become profitable if you keep saying I should have, I could have, I would have. Like, trying to get those words out of your vocabulary when it comes to trading, right? Like, you don't want to say that, because you're never gonna be satisfied. You grow your account from $100 to $150. You're gonna want more. You're always gonna want more. As humans, it's just natural, right? Everyone's gonna be greedy. Everyone wants more money at the end of the day. No one's ever gonna be satisfied, right? So yeah, I just understood that, you know, I'll never be satisfied, but it is a journey, so I just gotta enjoy the journey. And luckily, the journey also pays me as well, right? That's how I see it. Why don't you take the same mindset into your losses? Why not cut it short and then find ways to re-enter? Okay, so let me give you guys a little backstory of my risk management story, because some of you guys, oh, I'm not recording. Okay, let me do this again. Why don't you take the same mindset into your losses? Why not cut it short and then find ways to re-enter? Okay, so the reason why I manage risk the way I do now, it's a long story. It goes way back to when I first started trading, right? Some of you guys might have found me recently, like maybe like the last couple of years or the last couple of months to a year, right? And because lately this year, I said for the most part, our strips, our stops have been a lot wider than they were in the past, right? But it's there for a reason. Okay, so 2018, 2019 first started trading, cool. I always learn about risk management, okay? And again, you guys know what risk management is, right? I used to watch a bunch of streamers like Raja and a bunch of other traders, right? They also have risk management and risk to reward. Those are the two things that every mentor that I've learned from has always spoke about. And for me, I understood it. I get what risk to reward is. I know what risk to reward is. You know, some of you guys act like I don't know what risk to reward is. Trust me, risk to reward, I've been through it. I've been through it. All right. So I know what it is. It's just, I never understood how you could base the markets off of your risk to reward tool over what the market's printing. It just never made sense to me. Like I forced myself to use risk to reward just because the more people you hear, people talking about risk to reward, the more you're like, maybe this is the secret sauce. Maybe this is whatever. This is how you become profitable. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are many ways to become profitable. I'm sure you can be profitable with whatever risk to reward you want to risk or whatever risk to reward you prefer. It's all possible, right? But to me, mentally, it just never made sense. And when things don't make sense to me logically, I can't comprehend it. I can't wrap my mind about it to a point where I'm going to do this day in and day out because it's inconsistent, right? Well, if it's not logical, it's inconsistent. It's off of rather emotions. So for me, like if I were to like hop on a chart today and be like, okay, today I need to have a 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 risk to reward in order to make X amount. And let's say I enter that trade. That trade now goes 1 to 4, 1 to 4.8. It's like maybe 10 pips away from TP. Let's say at this point I'm up 150 pips. You telling me you're not going to close that trade because you need to hit that magic 1 to 5 number? Again, I'm not bashing risk to reward at all. I'm just saying, logically speaking, for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like if I were to be in a trade and I were to want it to be a 1 to 5, that's my TP. It goes up to a 1.4, 1.4.8. It's like 20 pips away. You tell me I'm not going to close if price shows that there's a rejection level? If the market literally shows me, like let's say this, all right? Let's say I'm in a buy position from here. What's a 1 to 5 here? This is a 1 to 5, right? Let's say I'm in a buy here. You telling me if I was in a buy position, right? And I got in an entry right here. This was my entry, right? This is my TP. This is my stop loss. You telling me if price were to come up and there was to be a resistance here, and there's signs now, logically speaking, on the higher time frames and the smaller time frames that shows you that you have bearish closures at resistance. It shows you that you have a strong resistance being respected, being rejected off of. You telling me you're not going to close off because you need to hit that 1 to 5 now? I'm going to close off, right? The thing is, like, when I close off, though, a lot of traders might say, Don, you're closing off because you're not too confident with your positions. I think of it differently. I think of it as I'm very confident in this position to a point where I understand that this position will come again. A lot of traders will mirror their trades. They'll be like, oh, wow, so I got a good entry here. And those traders might not have that much experience yet, or might have not been in the markets long enough to a point where they understand this trade will come again. So what they'll do is they'll milk it. They'll try to milk it. They'll move their TP. They'll never want to close. They'll keep trailing their TP even though it smacks it, right? Like they'll keep adjusting it, and that's the problem. That's greed, right? And that's also maybe with less experience in markets. That's just what it comes with. But for me, the way I see it is, I've been here so for long enough to understand that these plays will come again. So I can close this position, enter it when it forms again. That's the way I see it. So when it comes to risk to reward, right? But yeah, going back to the question, why you cut it short? Again, it's just not very logical for me to, in some cases, to base the markets off of risk to reward rather than basing it off of what the markets are showing me. So my stops now are a lot wider because I'm using like the most logical support and resistance as my stops, whereas in the past I'll put it below a certain candle low, right? Like in the past 2020, 2021, I'll have my stops like maybe like this. At some points my stops were, chat, if you guys know, they were like 5 pips, 10 pips, 20 pips, right? And then over time I realized that why am I gonna keep my stop small just to have a good image of a risk to reward when I can put my stop loss at the most logical support and resistance to a point where once that trade hits stop loss, the trade is no longer valid. Because sometimes when you just put a round number in your mind saying, okay, I need to only risk 10 pips from this trade just because you want a small stop. What does that mean? it just means that you're being emotional about it. You're just saying, I want a 10 pip stop. You're not basing it off of any logical level. You're just saying, I want a 10 pip stop just because. Like, I just never understood it. I'd rather put my stops at a more logical price to a point where once it breaks that level, I know the trade's invalid. I know that trade's reversing. I know that trade's gonna, you know, hit the next support and resistance, right? Like for instance, if I were to get into sell here, like this, and my stop were like to be above here, I know that if I were to hit stops, it's gonna fly. Why? I know because off of price action, it shows me that this is clean traffic. So you basically just use the same clean traffic principles or technicals to your advantage when you find your stops, right? So that's how I see it. It has changed over the years. Like I did have at one point 10 pip stops, 20 pip stops, 1 to 5 RRs, right? But over the years, it kind of increased. And this isn't the be all end all. It may get to a point where I will kind of crawl back to a smaller stop, right? But I'll let that naturally happen. I'm not going to force myself to have a small stop just because. I'll get there as I learn, as I adapt to the markets, because I'm only 4 years in, right? I'm only like 4 to almost 5 years into the markets. I'm still new into trading, you know. Okay, not new, but I'm still like, you know, I'm still establishing my strategy, and I will forever be establishing my strategy, right? That's never gonna end. But yeah, that is why my stops are much bigger than they were in the past. But again, just because I have big stops doesn't mean you have to as well. Thanks for the tier 1 member, by the way. Rogon 2K, appreciate you. Do you think a strategy can stop working? Do I think a strategy can stop working? I don't think a strategy can stop working. I believe a lot of traders build their strategy and then they just think this is the be all end all. They don't continue to work on that strategy. I've been working on my strategy for like each year. Every day I'm working on my strategy. It's never going to finish. It's never ending, right? I'm always looking for ways to improve. And that's the problem with a lot of traders. They get too comfortable. They hit whatever, let's say they make profits for a couple months and they're like, yo, this is it. I'm not going to look for ways to improve, rather looking for ways to make more money. You can't make more money when you're not looking for ways to improve your strategy. It doesn't work, because again, like the bigger picture is a strategy. That's how you're going to make your money, right? So if you're just working on making more money, increasing your lot sizes, how are you gonna get improved and get better, right? Eventually you're gonna kind of like fall off a little bit. So yeah, I don't think strategy will change really. I've been trading the same strategy for the last 4 years. I've just adapted, all right? Adapted to different variables. What time frame is best to find market structure? So market structure, it comes down to like, so when I do my analysis, right? Like I'm using every time frame. So like you don't have to like go on every time frame and look for market structure, but you kind of have to understand the ins and outs of the markets. So like if you were to go on the weekly time frame, and the weekly now shows you that like your structure here is bullish, right? Like if you look at market structure, you can kind of see that like, okay, well, what did price do? Let's zoom in a little bit. Price here, at one given point, I guess you can say created like a, or if you look at this at least, you know, it's been creating higher highs and higher lows, right? It's just been kind of like pushing up. You know, you made a low like here, new high, then new low, then new high, right? Then new low here. So like the structure shows you that you're bullish, right? So you can kind of just use that to your advantage. Like you can say, okay, well, the weekly shows that we're bullish. So if I'm dropping down to like the smaller time from today, I'm dropping down to the daily, the 4, the 1 hour, the 30, 15. I will look for buys this week going up, right? So I'll drop down to the daily and be like, okay, well, if the weekly shows that I'm bullish, right, off of the bullish structure that we have, the daily, what does it show me? It shows me that, cool, I'll start marking up my daily. The daily shows me that, you know, there's this resistance here, there's this support here, this is now a range we're in. But since the weekly structure is bullish, yes, there's a higher chance you will drive up for the daily than you were to drive down, just because of the way the weekly looks, right? So if this is the range you're in, for instance, and you're closing like bullish at support, there's a high chance next week's tomorrow's candle or tomorrow's daily will likely drive up. That's what you're just assuming, right? So if you're understand that the weekly is bullish, the daily is also bullish, how could you get buys going up towards the next daily resistance now? Because this is the range you're in. Drop down to a small time frame, highlight those levels, go highlight a level at 2007, for instance, because that's where it is, right? 2007, because that's your resistance, and then highlight a level here as well at the support. So resistance there, 2007, support here at 1982. Okay, so do 1982 and then 2007. All right, cool. So now delete the levels, drop down to a smaller time frame, go down to the 4, and obviously the markets are closed right now, but like go down to the 4 130 and look for how you can get buys going up, right? If you know how we trade, then obviously you have a better understanding of that, right? But I can't really go too much in depth with that just now, unless you guys want to do a full breakdown analysis. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it. So I'll start off with the higher time frame. I'll look at the higher time frame structure, and then as I drop down to the 5 15 30, I'll look for my plays in my playbook to get buys going up towards that structure. That's all that really is. Make sense? Or am I speaking too fast? I might be speaking too fast, but sure, Reza, yeah, tweet it. What things do you pay attention to? iTunes. What things do you pay attention to when placing a trade? I pay attention to structure. I pay attention to, have we already grabbed liquidity yet? I pay attention to have we closed above or below my support and resistance levels. I'll say those are the main 3 things I pay attention to be honest, because that's all I use in my strategy. That's all that my strategy is based off of, right? Liquidity, support and resistance, and structure. That's really it. I've been trading for 2 years. I don't have a lot of capital, and I'm skeptical on how to get that capital. Was going to use MFF, but they got bumped. What should I do? All right, so the way I see funding companies, like I understand they're very good for traders who need funding, right? Like I'm not like against funded at all. I just feel like a lot of traders get into funded because they need more capital, but they're not focusing on their skill set. Right? They think that the more capital you have, the easier trading will become, but that's not the case, right? So the approach that I've always given on stream is, or I've always recommended on stream is, when you're new to trading, go straight to live. Forget a demo. Use demo maybe to learn about the tools, but if you're in position to have money where you can just drop in, like, and it's not like something that will kill you, right? Like it's not something that's like, it's not a crazy amount to you, drop it. Like if you're willing to lose it, drop it, right? Like let's say it's $100. Sure, put down $100 in a live account, trade the account as you would, right? Gain the skill, gain the confidence, because when you trade on a demo, one thing that you don't learn, no matter like what you do in a demo, is you don't learn about psychology. You're not managing real funds. You don't see numbers, like those numbers that takes up and down in your balance, that you won't be affected by it because you understand this is just a demo. Any given point you blow an account, fuck it, it is what it is, right? But when you have a live account, even if it's $100, even if it's something that's very small to you, at least it still has meaning to you. Therefore, you will have pressure behind those trades, all right? And you need pressure to learn trading. You need to learn about discipline. You need to learn about confidence. You need to learn about managing capital, right? Like those things you just need to know as a trader. So it's better you start off early, go on live, trade the live, gain the skill. Sure, once you have that skill for a year plus, that consistency, right? Or 6 months to a year, whatever you feel comfortable, but 6 months to a year of consistent results. Now, I'm not talking about like you flipping your $100 account to 1,000 by next week and say, yeah, you're good. Nah, brother, you're gonna blow that account. Like if you flip that account from $100 to 1,000 within a week, you're gonna blow that account. I'm sorry, it's just how it works. I've seen so many stories, right? You want to grow that account from 100 to like 1,000 within a year. Sure, there's more skill behind that than growing that account within a week or 2 weeks, right? Because you're not going to get anywhere. You're not learning, you're learning no skills if you were to rush that process, right? But when you trade that account for a year on straight, get consistent results each and every year, cool. Go fund it after, right? Go fund it, buy your funded challenges, trade that funded as if you were to trade that $100 account. And once you go fund it, after some time, some years, go back to live. Take out money, go back to live, because that's the goal, right? You want to be trading your own live capital, because you don't know how long these funding companies are going to be out here for. Right? But you know how long your personal funds are going to be out here for. So I'll say that's the way I'll go about it, to be honest. If I were to go back to like where it was like 2019, that's how I'll go about it. But 2019, the funding companies weren't that big back then. So for me, it was just pure live capital, and I just blew a bunch of accounts. But yeah, that's what I'll say. Well, that's what I'll say you should do probably. I'm on 11 win streak. Should I go fund it? Win streaks doesn't determine your success in trading. You can take 11 trades in a day and win them all. It's just a day. What's a day compared to a year of straight results? What's a day compared to a year of straight journaling? Nothing, right? So win streaks don't matter. It's irrelevant at the end of the day. You want to like see consistent results for months and months and months with like, you know, consistent trading times. Like you can't just be trading like I get if you're a swinger, sure, it's different, right? But like if you're a scalper and you're trading like, you know, once a week and you're trading for like, or once a month and you're trading for a year straight, like that's 12 trades. Like you need more data than that, right? So yeah, I'll say get a journal though. By the way, we dropped a new journal called the TBJ journal, the Buff journal. Elvis has developed the journal for us, and it's a good way to keep track of your trades, you know? Like it's still new to me, so I'm starting to use it. But yeah, after a year, after 2 years, like you'll get some consistent results. You get some consistent details that you might have missed on that you can use to your advantage, right? The journal I've been using lately was just like this journal. I've been using this journal, which is just like the signals journal basically, but that's what I've been using for the last 2 years. And it keeps track of some of my stuff. Like I kept track of like my breakouts, my fakeouts, my onions, my type of entries, my time frames, my sessions, right? My quarter, which quarter I've done better in. So it kept track of that. It's just the issue with this is this has more detail. There's no issue with this really, but this does have a lot more detail. It takes advantage of like for instance, your break evens, like what you could have done, right? Like over time, you have a better idea of what you could have done because stats show that your runners are likely to play out more often, right? Or even like your 10 pip plus trades. How often do you close a trade off at 10 pips? And then how often does that trade run afterwards, right? So it's a lot more detailed for sure. For someone who's never traded before, what is the most vital piece of information you share to them? Have fun with it and take your time, please. That's like something that a lot of people look over. You want to have fun with it, you know, because it will get to a point where at first it might be fun, but after a while you're like, fuck, I've lost this much amount of money already? Nah, man. And then you start revenging. And that's not fun, right? It gets to a point where you're just chasing money and you're not even learning the skill no more. Everyone starts off the same way though. Everyone starts off by learning the skill, and then it gets to a point where they're just chasing the money. And it's unfortunate, but it's just how it is, right? Even I did that. Everyone does it, but try to, you know, stay on the subject matter by any means, which is building the skill. And also, if you're new to trading, don't think that, you know, you can trade for a month and go full time. I mean, very rare case. Some people might have the skill to do so. I did not, obviously. But yeah, like make sure you have a backup plan. Like you have money coming in, you have a side hobby, you have a part-time job, you have a job, whatever it is, right? And treat trading as a hobby until trading naturally replaces your income. Might take a year, might take 2, right? But don't force it. Don't go full-time because you had 1 payout. Go full-time after you had multiple payouts on a consistent matter. When would you say switching to a new FX pair is useful? New FX pair is useful. For me, I've been trading, like when I first started trading, I was kind of just dabbling around with different pairs. Like I was trading like Euro USD, Euro JPY, CAD JPY, USD JPY, Pound Yen, Gold, US30, right? So I was trading a bunch of pairs, but I realized that I was only trading a bunch of pairs because I was trying to find more setups. That's all that was, right? So it kind of forces you to really overtrade when you have a lot of pairs, because if one pair is not playing out, you're on to that next pair. You're looking at that next pair now, you're like, shit, what can I look for in this setup? Don't lie to me. I know you guys have done that because I've done it too, right? But you look at the pair all day, you're like, nothing's good. Nothing's really good here. Let me check what NZD CAD is doing. When do you ever trade NZD CAD? Never. But you're looking to make money now, right? So that's the problem with having a lot of pairs. You're more so chasing the dollar than chasing the skill, chasing what that market is currently displaying to you and showing you. So me now, I just trade gold, right? And I mean, there are pretty setups that happen pretty often on gold, right? Especially since I scalp, but yeah, like it's better off if you just stick to like maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 pairs, just so you kind of force yourself not to overtrade, right? But here's the thing as well. When you're new, that advice of only sticking to 1 or 2 pairs, don't over leverage, don't overtrade, like those rules only apply to those who are new to trading. Because once you gain enough experience in the markets, it gets to a point where you won't really be taking trades for the, I'll say money. You're taking trades for you're taking quality trades is what I'm trying to say, right? You're not just taking trades because you want to make money. You're taking trades that are aligning up to your playbook, right? So those rules are set for those who are new, because a lot of new traders, they're just trading to, like, they don't care how they're making their money. They're just taking trades left and right just to make money, right? But when you gain that skill to not overtrade, that skill to not over leverage, and you're taking quality trades now, only quality trades, you won't have the urge to take those ram trades, right? So therefore those rules won't really apply to you anymore. Like there's days where I take 0 trades, the next day I can take 100 trades, right? So it all, again, it's those rules are, I say, more applied for those who are new to trading and don't know the I guess the risk factors of trading. What were we doing before trading? I was working at a grocery store. You guys seen the video. If you guys didn't watch the video, go watch it. It's my journey video, basically, right? It's the latest video on my channel, which is minimum wage to millionaire in just 4 years. Any more technical questions, chat? I need more technical questions. I'll get into the Zoom in a second here. In a second, I'll get to the Zoom. Elvis wants his hand raised. Sure, I got you, Elvis. Yo, what's up?
Not much. There's so many questions going on. Were you reading the questions? Is it off YouTube chat?
I'm off YouTube chat, but I'm about to switch to the Zoom chat in a second.
Right,
I feel like
okay,
Zoom might have
cool.
more in-depth questions for some reason. No offense, YouTube, but I just feel like the Zoom chat might, you know, because they're in a course, right? So like I'm assuming they're gonna have course questions regarding like setups and stuff. No offense though, no, you know. No, but I'll keep answering YouTube questions. I'm pretty sure, you know, the questions in the Zoom chat, you guys will probably have them answered as well for you guys. You guys will have the same questions, I'm pretty sure. Okay, but everyone who's asking the Zoom call, are you guys okay with unmuting your mic and asking them?
Yeah, Don Juan's nodding.
Sure. Okay, cool. Let's see what Don Juan question is. Okay, so I'm gonna unmute one person, chat. They're gonna ask the question, and then I'm gonna answer it. And then once we go through that, you know, I'm assuming it's gonna be a little bit back and forth maybe, and then I'll go to the next person. All right, because I want to make sure they have their question answered. I need that nod from them, and then we'll go to the next person. But first up is Don Juan. You guys may know from the streams. What's up, Don Juan? How you doing?
What's happening, man?
What's up, bro?
I'm so excited just to be able to ask detailed questions in a sense of, like, you know, setups and ranging. So I found my first question based off the daily time frame, if you want to look at the daily time frame.
Yeah.
Because I run into this sometimes when trying to mark up support and resistance. So, you know, if you was just marking up your zones on your daily right here, you have resistance at 2005.856 right at the top of the range.
2005.856.
Right at the top, right at the top, right at the top. Bearish bullish candle right there.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah, and then you have your swing low to the left over here, all the way down, down some more. Down,
oh, yeah,
down,
you
down,
can draw
down.
on the screen here. I'll let you draw on the screen.
Oh,
might be easier for you that way to describe things.
Now you're putting me, what I get my annotation things from?
I can draw them if you don't mind. Here, this is your support, right?
Go down, pull it down, right there. That's what I had in mind. That was kind of like putting me in a range.
Yeah.
But my question in general, because I know like in a sense I could get in the middle and mark up a 15 or a 30. But my question is, if you come down to this last bullish candle below the zone on the left, that's coming up. No. On the left, below your, no. Don't put no more support or resistance. Come down right here. Your last bullish candle coming up right here.
That one.
When you get caught, right. And if you look left, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I kind of just use the daily time frame to kind of like ask this question because it happens when I'm marking up my 30-minute support sometimes.
Yeah.
Explain to me, I guess, because I just put right here 1947.569, the bottom of that candle really would be my next range of support, or would it go down to like 1934.187? And how do you determine if that would be like if I was taking a sell below that last support there just for whatever reason and it was coming down, I want to have a TP. Would this candle, that last daily candle, be a support, or would I have to come down to like 1934.187 to have that overall range? Like, where does the range stop at that candle, even though there's no support and resistance created there, or does it have to go down to that next swing low or look left and find support and resistance?
It's a good question.
Yeah, good question. Couple things here. First off, yeah, your zones are valid. So, you know, like, yeah, I know you didn't ask the question, but your zones look pretty valid. Your support and resistance, so that's good. In terms of like finding the next support, so you found these levels right here off of the most recent. Like you look at just this structure, and this is what you looked at, right? But I get, yeah. So like as your next support, I'll say you want to like kind of look a little further to the left because there's not much data here. It's just one candle, right? So you're trying to see like the very next major support. Where is that going to be? So I want to look a little further to the left. I want to kind of pay attention to this, sure, but also this as well, right? So you scan from left to right. What do you like? What do you notice? Like where do you see a lot of wicks at? I'm asking you.
1934.187 overall would be like.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to, if you can, go on annotations and just circle like the areas of wicks from left to right. You can. There's no right or wrong answer here. I'm just trying to see what you see, compared to.
Well, I know realistically overall, my next support and resistance would be at like 1934.187. I know that would be like correct in a sense. And I can't find, where's the annotation button?
Yeah, so annotations is like, it's like a little pen, right, Elvis? It's like a little pen, I think.
Okay,
like pen. And then you click on like, if you click on the pen,
I know it's somewhere right in this area here where I get a lot of support and resistance in a sense.
All right, so yeah, the reason why I asked you like to like circle the areas because like it's gonna show you different levels, right? So like,
because I know it could be here, but
yeah.
I know like support and resistance needs to hit to make it a valid line in a sense.
Yeah, it needs to kind of like match up, right? So yeah, like I'll say yeah, sure. Like maybe you're missing like here and here, but for the most part, that's about right. So how I go about this, it might sound a little goofy, but like I can't connect the dots. So like here to here, and then I do like here to here, and I do like here to here because off of what you circled, right? Here to here, here to here, and then here to here. And then the average support and resistance area where price taps, like I'll say for the most part, all the dots will be here. So I have my next support probably around here, to be honest, on price. I have it marked up around there. Like in this box here, I'll say.
Within that range.
Yeah, within that range. Okay. So I understand now that if I were to take sales down, right? I understand that once price taps between like 45, yeah, I'll say 45 to be safe. 45, that's a level where I will now kind of want to manage risk. I want to close partials. I want to move stock to break even, or I want to do whatever. But I want to manage risk there because there's a very high chance that price could reject there. And that happens also line up with your candle as well that you marked up earlier. So yeah.
Okay. So that's what I was gonna ask. And I guess in a sense of cleaning up my question to the end and being done as far as my first question, and I'll get back in rotation. But with that wick to the right here, I have caught myself in a sense of like if I was going market here, if I was saying like from here to here was my zone, I've like overstudied or come to the conclusion that this rejection wick could be like the closing of a zone. Because I noticed like sometimes if you was to mark here, this resistance, you may put it at that wick as well because it's like a rejection point. So when you entering a trade here with all these rejection wicks, let's just say it was range 2 still. Let's just say it was range 2 breakout in a sense. Would you be hesitant to look for a retest of this area, meaning like more structure to come down versus taking the breakout and, you know, top wick, bottom wick, flip of the candle?
Okay, so like in
When
this
you have
this situation, like in this candle situation right now, not in general terms, but like you're talking about like the current daily. If we were to come down like that, is what you mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying in general, like I know this wouldn't be a range 2 breakout, but I guess I'm just trying to understand like when you are in those situations with a bunch of candle rejections and you trying to determine where this zone stops in a sense of how far should I be putting a TP, or should I enter this trade in a sense of like, oh, I broke structure, but I see there's like 3 candle rejection here. And you can't really base market flow. So in a sense of saying, oh, it's a break of structure and it's coming down, just hypothetically speaking, if it was a zone 2, would you be looking for more market structure with those rejection candles to give you more of, I'm gonna stay in this range, versus more so like it could still fake out, even though I know you say if it's in zone 2 is roughly 10%.
Yeah, so like when it comes to like, I'll say like me looking for a position that it was in that zone, I'll more so have my line marked up here, and I'll look for a sell below there because there's cleaner traffic below these ranges. Because if I were to just take a sell here, right, you're looking left now, you're like, well, there's another support here, which is probably doable as well. You can probably take sells below there, but like the cleaner range, I'll say, would be below here because that's when everything is cleared. Like that's when you're good. You know, you're good towards here. Whereas this, you have like a pit stop here, and like when you have a pit stop, it sometimes could just push straight through, but it's more likely it would start to reject and like range for a bit before it breaks towards the next zone, which is what you were asking earlier. You're like, will it like retest a zone, right? So what happens is like you might see like something like this. If this is like my major support right here, right on price, and then this is my next major support right here. If you were to come down towards this, for instance, come down like this, right? You would come down, you get a wick, you probably tap into that area that you mentioned, which is this level right here, and then you probably retrace a little bit, and then the next candle, once it closes below, will be the one that drives probably, right? And while that candle's rejecting on a small time frame, you'll see your retest because that candle went from here to here, right? And then it made a top wick. So on a small time frame, you'll see that candle retest that low that you mentioned to come down.
Okay, so that candle could be a support, a minor support, but overall the best support is what you explained. Okay, thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, the very cleanest.
That's one of my questions. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir, bro. All right, cool. Who got another question? Let me see in the Zoom chat.
Beto had a question.
Beto had a good question. Okay, sure. I have trouble understanding reading when candles respect form resistance. What are you looking for? Okay, cool. Let me meet you, Mike. If you want.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Kato?
Yeah, so like sometimes like when like I don't really know like when we're about to like enter a trade or like just looking at the candles, sometimes like you and Wick say like, oh, it's respected support here, oh, it respected resistance here. And I obviously know like the break of that support and resistance would like, you know, you can trade a breakout if you wanted to, but I guess I don't really know like how to identify that and how to, and what that means, I guess, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, you might have to draw it out. Like, do you mind drawing me an example maybe? Like on Zoom, if you have access to it?
I'll try to, you know what, I'll go back in rotation. I'll try to find a good example of like when you were live streaming, so you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'll be back.
All right, cool. Because I'm like, I need a visual representation. How about that down one? All right. let's see. Yeah, we'll get back to that in a second then. Does anybody else have a question on Zoom?
I feel like to ask a good technical question, you also need to have a good understanding of, like, even if your understanding is wrong, right? But you need to understand what your analysis is, and then we can kind of have a better idea of, okay, is your analysis wrong in certain places? But you need to be confident and be able to explain your analysis completely. So it's like difficult if they're just kind of general questions, but
Yeah, like yeah, it needs to be a little more in depth. Well, it doesn't have to, but it would be better for you to understand it yourself, or because sometimes I might answer the question, might be like, well, thanks, Dom, but that question that didn't really answer my question, right? So I want to make
Yeah.
sure like I 100% got your question down. Dom, what are you drawing there? Okay, I think Zay got a question here. Zay has a question.
Oh yeah, hand up.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's going on?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So can you go to the 1 hour real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Friday, I'm not gonna lie, like I know it was super, what'd you say, aggro? I think that's what you call it. I kind of struggled a little bit like in the beginning. I don't know if I can like draw this, but like I had marked up like in the morning, I had buys above 92. But I had a range from 92 to 90.
No,
And
so
then
you
a
had a
range,
range 92 to 90, like that.
and then yeah, and then I had 88, and then I had one at 97.
88, and then which 97?
I had a like just a range at 97, at the top of 97.
Oh, 97. Okay.
Yeah, so like I know like you trade on like the 5 minute, but like I think I like struggle because I like try and look at all the time frames all at one time, and I'm like shuffling. So like on the 5 minute, that bullish candle that broke out at 88, even though I had buys above 92, it broke out at 88, or like was it 88 or was it
90,
below
you
my
mean?
right? Yeah, 90. Yeah. So it broke out at 90, right? Does that mean that like coming back down, sells below 92 are valid? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're looking for the fake out. Like, is that kind of where you're going at? Like,
Right.
if you were to break back into the range, would that be a valid to come down to fill the range?
To fill the range, yeah. Even though it broke out and filled the range already.
Yeah, because it's just a retest, right? And it's kind of hard for me to look at it right now because I'm not sure like what time that happened at, so I'm not sure what the other time frames were printing. But going off of what I see now, if like for instance, if I seen the 4 hour candle close like this, bearish at resistance, right, and the 4 hour candle kind of like broke back into this range, you said you had your ranges marked up on the 1 hour, right? So and then I see the 1 hour candle look like this now, where yeah, you had like, let's say you had like this over here where you had a high, you had a low, and then you had like this minor resistance being formed here, and then you had this support as you had it, right? Yes, I'll say if you were to close below this range, sure, I could look for sales down to fill the range, but it would need to close below first. But I don't know if this closed below. Like from what I've seen, I would have had a level at 92, and it looks like it just respected. So, but if it were to close below, sure. But then I can go a little deeper into it and talk about the wicks, but I don't think that's your question yet, right? You're asking just about general direction. So
Yeah, general direction.
Yeah. Because like if I were to look for actual wicks and everything else afterwards, I would have waited for maybe like a top wick here and then the flip of a candle to come down, just because there's no top wick here, and I would have looked for that as liquidity just to drive down.
Yeah, and I see like after I do my markups, like the buys can also become sells all in one day. Valid at the same time.
Yeah, this range is definitely tradable. It was it's like a 50 pip range. Buys were definitely valid. Is that your question?
Yeah, that was my only question. No, that's it.
All right, bro. Hopefully I got you with that. Let's see. Who else has a question? Ah, okay, psychology questions. Okay, cool. I got you. I got you, Bougie. Yeah, chat. Also, Elvis will be here, helping me along with some questions too, because he may have some questions that he might be better off answering. All right, Bougie, what's up, man? Did I unmute you yet or no?
I think Bougie said he can't talk because he's actually at work.
He can't talk. Okay.
But his question was basically like, are there times when you feel like you need a mental reset from the charts? Right. So I don't know if like you're in like a lose streak or something that's happened, right? And if you do need a mental reset, what do you do?
Personally, like I've never really been at a point where I feel like I needed a mental reset. Maybe like recently, like when I did like kind of what was it? Yeah, like 2 weeks ago when I did below like 300K off my account, right? Yeah, like that was like a point where I was like, should I really just take a 2-week break and just, you know, take my mind out the charts? But then again, I don't know. For me, it was kind of like, well, it won't really change much, I don't feel like, because for me, I don't get emotionally attached to my trades, right? Like trades like suck. Like I don't get affected by my trades, right? Like yeah, I lost 300K, it stung, but like it won't change the way I view the charts the next very day. Like if I were to come onto a chart the next day, I'm not gonna be like, okay, well, how can I make back 300K on this trade? No, I'm gonna take my 10 pips again, right? So for me, like it wasn't, I thought about it, I'm like, you know what, there's no point in me taking a mental reset. It's not gonna do much for me, at least for me. You know, some of you guys maybe, right? And that's okay too. It's okay to take mental resets when you feel like you're not mentally there. But yeah, I thought about it for a little bit and it just didn't make sense to me to take a mental reset. I came to the charts the next day and we caught 9 pips on that Monday, right? So it's like cool. Nothing changed. The way I view my charts don't change, because that's because I've been training for a long time and I'm able to separate my technicals with my emotions, right? I don't base my technicals off of my emotions. Yeah, I'm just being honest. That's kind of what it was. Like I did talk to Reza. I'm like, yo, should I take a break? Should I just chill on streaming? And again, trading and streaming are two different things too, right? So yeah, like I was gonna take a week or two off a stream, but I'm like, you know what, there's no point, bro. Like I'm just gonna come on and do what I usually do, and again, I'm fine now. Looking back, like, I'm happy I didn't take a break. You know, I'm happy I'm still here doing what I do every day. And yeah, but I think in my whole career, I've never taken a break though. Like even after blowing accounts, I've never taken a break. Even when I didn't have any funds in my account to trade, because you know I used to work, right? So every 2 weeks I get my paycheck. I'll get a paycheck, blow my money on account, blow the account. I'll have no funds left. I'll still trade. I'll still look for ways to improve my trading. I'll come to the charts. I'll look at some structure, whatever the case I'm working on at the time, structure, breakouts, whatever it is, and I'll work on those things, right? I might not be trading, but I'll be on like a simulation, or I'll be on live markets looking at charts in general. So I was always trading. I've never taken a break or anything. Like a long break, you know, like a month break or like a 2-3 week break, you know, at most maybe like a couple days, but maybe I was busy or something. Wick entries. Okay, so Wick entries. What do you guys want to know about Wick entries? I need someone on Zoom. Maybe Elvis can help me out with this.
There's so many things with Wick entries.
Yeah, so I definitely need help with this one. I just need help organizing the question, basically.
Yeah, exactly. What is the question that is Wick entries, right? There's so many things to Wick entries.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody in Zoom, like Zay, I think you were about to ask as well, like, so what is it about Wick entries you don't understand?
I think Wick entries. Oh, Jacob's on. All right. Well. Hold on, Jacob. I'll get to your question in a second, bro. I got you. I got you. Yes, because like you really want to understand like your question about Wick entries. There's a lot to Wick entries. It's like liquidity or no previous top wick, right? There's a lot that it comes down to, and honestly, you need to know kind of like the playbook and everything that I taught before this year to understand the way we trade now, or at least to get a clear understanding of it. Or else the way I explain things, it'll be like skip steps. There'll be a bunch of skip steps that I haven't mentioned or broken down, but it's just because I'm going based on what I know now, right? And you guys might have not known what I already knew, so it'll be a little hard for me to explain it.
I would say the first thing that you need to differentiate that the wick entry is an entry type. It's not a setup, right? So you're still looking for the setup, which is, you know, if you're looking at the playbook, it's a breakout, a fake out, onion, whatever it is, right? You're still looking for that setup. And then you're just choosing the entry type, which has the most confirmation for you. Sometimes that can be a wick, right? If say you get a breakout above, and then you're understanding that there's a high chance you would have taken this breakout anyways, if like it was on the flip or anything. But a wick entry, you know, is also valid because, you know, potentially you've already grabbed liquidity, you've got that breakout, it just looks like you want to drive, and a wick entry is fine, right? But if in the case that you have a breakout, but you haven't got any liquidity yet, so you're looking for that liquidity to be grabbed, but you're also worried that it's going to turn direction, right? So in that case, you're probably looking for the flip instead. So a wick entry is just another confirmation. Like, it's just the type of entry you use is just if you need that level of confirmation for your trade to play out, I would say.
So like, I'll show you guys an example of like like on this exact time from the 1 hour in gold, I'll show you a clear example of when I'll use a wick entry, or what I'll look for in terms of a wick entry, and the questions I'll ask myself when I'm looking for that wick entry, right? So first things first is like, yeah, cool, price came up, it rejected strong resistance, right? Strong resistance sitting here at 2000, and then you have like a strong support here at 1990. This is now considered a range you're in. So within this range, you can do anything. You can take buys, you can take sells, but you have to understand what direction the market's kind of trending towards, right? Obviously, overall we're bullish, right? Long term we're bullish, right? But looking at current structure, forget like what's happening right now, just look at the current 1 hour structure on price. So I'll go ahead and cover all of this up to the left here. I might need it later, but I'll cover it up for now so you guys won't get confused, right? I'll look at this. If the market shows me that we're coming down here based off of this, right? U1 could probably look for, again, simple and straightforward, maybe a closure below the range, because there is some type of support being formed there. You wait for a closure below the range. Sure, you can then take sells coming down, and then you can take a wick entry here. Like this could be a wick entry, for instance, on the top wick, right? Because you close below the range, so that's a breakout. If you guys know the old playbook, the next kind of opens up, forms a top wick, because 85% of candles form top wicks. You get the wick entry to come down. That's one. Wick entry number two you can take is a little more aggressive, right? But we started taking them this year. Will be more of like, for instance, here, if we know, or not we know, but if we understand that whenever there's no top wick, there's a high chance you will get a top wick. Like for instance here, no top wick on the candle closures. There's a high chance that you will get a top wick before coming down now. We could then look for wick entries in that area, right? So this is when you want to look left a little bit, right? But if I'm looking for a wick entry, I'm looking for wick entries now within this orange zone, the yellow zone here, because again, price is bearish here, right? We broke structure, and this can just be a high being created. So if there's some type of resistance being formed here on price, right, and there's no wicks there, I would expect a candle to come up, create a top wick before coming down here, and then I'll take my sells within that yellow zone. So again, I'll look left. Let me go delete this thing right here, and I'll see where you've had a lot of rejections in the past in that same roundabout, within the same area. So I'll say for the most part, it'll be probably around here. I'll probably put it up around here. So if I'm looking for a wick entry now, I'll look for one at 1996.788, because that's where in the past you had a lot of rejections. And if current structure shows me that you have no top wick here, I would assume if price were to drive down, that you'll see a top wick tapping into that zone before coming down. And worst case, price does not drive down. The good thing about wick entries now is you have advantage points. So if price were to sort of like make its way up now, right, and worst case it doesn't drive back down, it just continues to drive up, you'll probably likely see some type of retest, right? Because now that wick entry area was your resistance, it now becomes support if you were to close above. So if price comes down, creates a bottom wick, you can exit. And that's when we introduce pineapples. So it gets into a whole different, area of wick entries. But for the most part, that's what I'll do in this situation.
Yeah, I would say there's another level you can kind of look into this, right? So if you keep everything like this, yeah, that's perfect. So you understand that there's this wick here, right? You understand this is the top of this level here, right? These levels here, all of this is a lower time frame range, right? So as you're creating the wick, you're just filling the range on the 5 or the 15. So we're understanding that when you break into a range on the lower time frames, it's a high chance you're going to fill it. So the wick on the higher time frame, you know, as this is coming up to this point, this is just filling the range on the 5 before making the higher time frame move to start coming down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's again, it's also just another range fill. So as long as you understand range fills, breakouts, fakeouts, it's all the same concepts, just applied slightly differently, I would say.
For that too, though, you have to understand multiple time frames. So you have to
Yeah.
like understand that too, or else you won't understand what Elvis has said about range fill in the 5. You're like, how do you get the 5-minute time frame, right? You go on the 5 here. What's happening on the 5? Right? Go back to
How do we
like
get there? Yeah.
like look, like there's a resistance here now, right? So as you're coming up to fill like 96, all that's happening really is you're, again, like Elvis said, you're filling the range. That's all that really is. So yeah, you have to understand multiple time frames. And if you guys have questions about that, we can dive deep into that as well. But it's not just like a one answer to a Wick entry. There's lots of steps to it because Wick entries represents everything that we've done in the last 4 years on stream. So keep asking, you know, like I want you guys to get this. I want you guys to understand like how I view the markets, right? It's very key and important. And sometimes it's hard for me to answer because there's so many steps and variables to it. It's not as simple as drawing a trend line. Nothing against trend lines, but it's not as simple as me just saying, here's my fib, 68.1 true retracement. It's a lot deeper than just that one main confluence, right? There's multiple confluences. So we can stay here all day and do it. But you guys gotta bring out the questions, you know? If you guys are confused, just say it. Just tell me you're confused and tell me to explain it. Because Wick entries is like very it's very in-depth, man.
It's like the playbook plus the evolution of the playbook all coming together into one idea and then taking advantage of the market. So it's so complex. Like it's easy to understand very like high level. Okay, a wick entry is just an entry on the wick of the candle, but like why? That's the difficult part.
Yep.
I think there's 2 people on the Zoom. Kato's back and Zay's also got another question.
Yeah. All right, let me unmute her mic.
Oh, she also sent a YouTube link.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah, I sent the link where you talked about it briefly.
Okay, so from here, want me to play from here?
Yeah, it should be like 10 seconds after this, but yeah, this is where you start to talk about it.
All right, let's unmute this. This is a little tougher, chat.
Yeah, how do you get the sound from this?
You have to get 18 pip range.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, it's all good.
You know, you might as well see the range fill because any given point now the fork will flip, right? Now that you actually broke, the idea is that you want to break the highs, right? So it doesn't exactly have to tap 83, 82. That's just like what you're expecting. It can reject at any given point because if you look at price here, like, technically you're still respecting this resistance here. So I get your question now.
Yeah.
You wanna ask it again just so the chat can understand?
Yeah. I pretty much said I have trouble understanding reading when candles respect support or resistance. What are you looking for when you identify candles respecting support or resistance, and what does that mean?
Okay, so in this example, this is a good example. You might I'll just use this one, but like what day is this? Is this the 4 hour? Maybe I can go back.
October 25th.
October 25th. Let me go back on the 4 hour October 25th. It was this one, right?
I think you're on the 20th. Oh yeah.
It was this candle, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, it was that candle. Yeah. That candle. Wow, that's a wild candle. That candle came up to 87 and down to 63. Was this a Friday? Oh no, it was a Wednesday. Okay, yeah. So in this case, like I think what I had it off of, if you go back to this candle, is before price moved, I sort of had my resistance based off of the most recent like rejection levels. So I had it off of like this, and then I had like these levels over here. I had like these wicks here. So I saw a lot of wicks here, right? So, and then a lot of wicks here too. So I'm like, okay, well, I understand that this is one general zone here, But within that zone, there's a lot of wicks within this area. So could that be a resistance, like a minor resistance, right? Because these are your major levels, major support, major resistance, right? Which is your red areas here. But the blue, I'll say that blue rectangle will be more of a minor level. There could also be minor levels here as well. Minor levels here, right? And minor levels up here as well. But within the minor levels, it's one major level. So if this is my next major level, and I understood that price here on the 4-hour time frame closed below that minor level, any given point, what can happen is you can reject, right? Because you're still respecting this resistance. You never closed above. Whereas if you were to close above, my bad, if you were to close above that level, then that's an indication that price could likely drive up towards the next resistance. So if you were to close up like this, chances that you're going to drive down flip bearish is a lot lower because you have a strongly established bullish closure above the range. Whereas if you're below the range and you close like this, the next candle could drive up because it is bullish, right? But at any given point, it could flip bearish because you're still respecting that zone. So that's what I would expect to happen if you were to be in that situation. Is that your question, or
Yeah, you got it. So pretty much it's just like a minor resistance compared to a major. Because I think that was confusing. I was like, it's not like a really major resistance like what we were talking about. But now I understand.
Yeah, it's minor. It's minor, but what's key is just where you close, right? Because in the past, if you like close at the exact same spot like it did here, it might do the exact same thing, right? It came up each and every time, but it just rejected. So I would assume the same thing would happen here again, right?
Okay,
whereas
so
you close above, you drove.
Yeah, so would you take a trade, like say if you see it breaking out and it closes above that minor resistance, would you consider that like a higher probability trade, or would you just wait until it breaks out of the major resistance?
I'll ask myself like, okay, well, how big is the range to go up towards the next resistance, right? And I'll also ask myself, well, what time frame is that on? Because yeah, if it like, for instance, if I understand that you close above there and your next major resistance is like this green box here, this is the range that you're breaking into, right? So therefore, if you were to close above, I would assume that the candle would drive up. So yeah, I could get buys going up towards the top of the range, but I'll drop down to a small time frame and look for buys up probably.
Okay.
Because, yeah, if the range is big enough.
Okay.
You can also, this might be more confusing, but you could also take buys too if you were to have a bullish candle closing respecting as well. Because if you have a bullish candle respecting and the small time frame shows you have range towards the next resistance, you could get buys up, but you have to understand that at any given point that candle could reject. So it comes down to what you want to play. Like if you want to play that game where you take buys up, but you also understand that price can reject at any given point since it's below the range, you have to be very aggressive with that move, right? So your perspective on that trade changes a bit.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. That was my question.
Yes, sir. Gotcha. Anybody else? Chat? Or on Zoom?
I think Zay was next.
Oh, Zay got another question?
And then Dom won.
Yeah, all right, cool. It's the same rotation.
Yeah.
Jack, no questions, Jack? Kieran, no questions? Jacob had a question. I'll unmute Kieran after. Reza, no questions? Cam got no questions for sure. Lloyd, you guys, unmute your mic if you guys want. Hopefully I'm answering these questions right though, because I get to you in a second, down one. Or you know what? I got you now. I don't know if Zay wants to be unmuted. Again, chat, if I'm going too fast or something, let me know, because I'm just trying to slow things down, but I could miss a lot of things sometimes, because for me it's second nature, right? Like this is my strategy. This is how I trade, right? So it's very second nature to me. I just forget, or I don't know what you guys have problems with.
Yeah, if you want to be unmuted, just hand up. So Zay's got his hand up now, and then we'll go to Dom one after that.
All right.
So yeah, do you want to unmute Zay?
Yes.
So if you keep your hand up, we can find you easier.
Yeah, keep your hand up.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah, my bad. So can I pull up annotate here? I don't know if that
Yeah, you could. It's a pencil.
Yes. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so can you see this? No.
Yeah, I see it.
Now we
Okay,
can,
cool,
yeah.
cool, 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 okay. So, say you had like something like this. I know I'm like kind of drawn all over the place, right? So I know you were just talking about wick entries. So say you had something like this, and I know it's something like you had what, a bullish candle like this, and then you had something like this, right? No top, something like this, right? And maybe something like this, right? So does that mean, right, if the next candle, I think I might answer my own question here. So like the next candle, you know what? Never mind. I just answered my own question.
It helps you sometimes when you draw it out, right?
Are you trying to say like is the candle going to come up and create a top wick for the next candle?
Yeah. So like, would
Right.
this be my wick entries? But it closes down here, so
But
that
look,
it wouldn't make
look
sense.
at where
yeah.
you drew the bearish candle though. It respect the support, right? If that
Right.
candle closed like maybe below like this, yeah, I'll say you can probably attempt a wick entry. But since it closed respecting, man, at any given point you can just dip up like this, right? You might not even come back down. So it comes down to how we close here. Like if we close below the range, right? Because this is the
Right.
range, right? So that's how I see
I think
it.
there's multiple things we can play with this. Like you can be looking for sells, right? If you get a top wick in these areas and then you flip, break these lows, you should be good to come down, right?
Right. This
Yeah.
is the top
You've
wick. It doesn't matter anymore.
broken all of this. But if you then, right, get another closure, like a green candle, right, that breaks this, right, a closure above, and then you dip like a bottom wick, right? And then you take the flip, that's also good for you to go up.
Mm.
So in this scenario, you actually have a lot of different options.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I like answered my question as I like started drawing it.
Yeah, it
That's
helps.
my fault.
You
Yeah.
want to always draw out your stuff though. That's why I
Yeah.
do it on stream at least. It helps.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I actually learned about wick entries. I remember the exact moment in Florida I got wick entries down. It was when I was drawing out, I think, a range 1 to range 2 breakout on the second day of the in-person course. And at that moment, I'm like, wow, I just understand. I just know what I'm about to like tap into now, into the wick entries. I have a better understanding of it. Just that exact moment, I just knew that I'll come back on
Yeah.
Mondays or Monday stream and I'll just start breaking it down because we've been talking about it all in person basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, Don Juan, what's up?
All right, this is kind of like my same first question, kind of just like a second edition.
That's
If
fine.
you do a range right here,
Yeah.
you know, here, kind of just re-emphasizing my question. Are you really gonna go look left here to find your overall range, or are you just gonna come here in a sense?
Okay.
Or do you pick one of these? Well, this would be a fake out, I would assume. So would this be your support here? And this is your range? Or do you use that candle for support? So I run into this situation a lot where I'm guessing if I should use this candle here, or should I come down to where I see range, or just really look left and find the most common support and resistance?
I think you have to understand, like, okay, so because sometimes I mark up my ranges and it's not ranges necessarily for buying or selling. It's more so just to point out what areas I'm in, right? So if I'm just drawing out levels, I understand what areas I'm in. I'll probably draw like on Mondays, let's say this is a new stream, I'll probably draw my resistance here, my support here. That's just the area and range that I'm in, right? Just for me to understand that. But like it comes down to what you're looking for. Like what would you be looking for in this range? Are you looking for buys? Are you looking for sells? And either of those are fine, but like what type of position are you looking for in this range, in this case, would you say? Because that will also affect how you draw your levels as well.
Well, based off the 4 hour, it looks bullish to me, but then it's like I get in my head with this fake out, which broke the swing low. So are we now bearish, technically speaking, or are we still bullish, technically speaking, off the 4 hour? Because the 4 hour swing low has been,
Okay,
well,
so, but you said
not
it.
really.
You said this, if it was a fake out, why was it a fake out then? Go back to the playbook, you know why.
Right, because the overall trend is bullish.
Yeah, so now since that was a fake out, you assume we'll make our way up to fill the top of the range now, right? So if that's what you understand now, that that's a fake out, you can draw your support there, right? Because you broke back into the range. That range is your support. This is your next resistance. This is the range you're in. And if that was a fake out to drive up, wouldn't you now look for buys to go up to fill the top of the range?
Correct.
Right? You look for this piece right here,
too.
right? Yeah,
Right.
but like that's good though. Like that's when it clicks. You have to like answer your own questions sometimes like that, right? That's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have a little clean traffic here, or decent traffic here. So for the drive ups.
Yeah.
Get
You
it.
look for like, if you want, like if you want to add some more flavor and seasoning to it, you can look for a closure above here, right?
Right.
You want to add more seasoning, maybe wait for a bottom wick here now, right? But then that kind of builds your trade up now, because you understand the direction now. You just now have to get your entries in with little as drawn out as possible.
That's what I was messaging you about the other day. It just clicked how, like, even though this candle drives up, it creates the support and resistance here, and right, that next candle, there should be a candle come here.
Yeah.
Which gave me kind of clarification on the wick entry as well, because I could definitely take a wick entry here, stop loss at the swing low at bare minimum, and I should get the drive up. So
Yeah.
I definitely understand that now. And I discovered that out of the course over the weekend, and it just clicked.
Yep. You can take the wick entries here, right? If you were to come down, or you can play the safer route, I'll say, and wait for the flip instead, right? After you get a bottom wick, right? But you need to grab liquidity now, right? So, but yeah, like that's what it is. It's just about, like, sometimes a lot of traders get confused about like what they're looking for, but like you have to kind of organize in steps. Like step 1, what's the direction? Step 2, what range do we have now, and how could that get filled? Step 3, how could I take positions towards that range? Like that's kind of what that's my process, at least when I look for my positions. Whenever I ask myself.
Okay, just one follow-up question in a sense.
Yeah.
And it was the same topic. And we had a breakout here where, you know, like it broke out, it made a new high.
Yeah.
Then we got a lower high, which is here, right?
Uh-huh.
Is your swing point overall here to here? So
My
meaning
swing point.
like
Overall range, you mean? Like
like where would you be looking for in a sense of like trend have changed? Would it be at this point, or like if it really broke out here, stayed down, came retest and drove away, but got here and rejected, are you still bullish?
So if it were to like break below, oh yeah, I get you. So sorry, if it were to like do this, right, like where it came down like this, and then would I still be bullish? No, because if you already create a low here, there's no reason to break the lows again unless you're gonna come down now, right? So if that's my support and you close below that range, I'll consider that just a bearish push, and I'll expect sells to come down towards that next swing low that you had right there.
So this right there is not considered like the overall swing low. That's not like a you know, like if you look at the 4-hour candle and you know, like you need it to break structure and change. So if you was just like looking at support and resistance at the 4-hour top and bottom of a push, it would be like, okay, if I'm inside of this range, I'm still in the same trend direction.
Yes. Yeah. Until you break out. Yeah.
Right. So would this not be classified as the same thing? Even though I heard what you said, like if it has no reason to come back and break that low if you made a resistance there or support there. So if it did break that low, it should drive down.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be bearish. I mean, you wouldn't be bullish no more. You automatically go bearish at that point because it rebroke the lows and drove.
You could be bullish because I would assume that if this is how things look, like literally like this, I would assume before coming down, you need liquidity up here. You need a top wick. So if you understand that, you could be in a situation to take buys within this wick up, right? But again, that's a little more like, I don't want to confuse you, right? But like, yeah, like I'll be like more bearish for sure. If I'm not looking for that, I'll look for sells and the flip coming down to fill the range after a top wick or something being formed.
I've answered my question.
Yeah.
Or I asked my question. Someone come with some more good questions.
Don, let me just add one thing, Don. Like, so currently we're on the 4-hour chart, right? So your 4-hour highs and lows, right? You have a higher high here, higher high here, higher low, right? And then you created, I would say what you say is almost like an equal low, but a wick breaking, right? So on your 4-hour time frame, if you break this low, cool, I'm bearish. But if you go to the daily, breaking this low might not indicate that the daily is bearish.
Correct.
Does that make
But
sense?
your
Yeah.
first low, and I guess that's why I was trying to ask the question in general. Your most recent low is here. Your previous low is here. So which one of these had to break to change the 4-hour structure
Yeah. So
trend? And that's what I was
yeah.
trying to figure out between
Yeah, so that's
these
the
two.
4-hour trend, yeah. But
Right.
like for a lot of the trades that we take, we want the monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, all of it to like align. So if it breaks here, it's actually kind of worrying because maybe the daily is still very bullish. So at that point, I don't know if like what is my overall bias, right? So I'll need to wait for potentially the daily to show me some direction before I'm able to take a very high confirmation trade.
Gotcha.
That
Yeah,
also affects it as well.
right. Yeah, I definitely get it. I was just trying to figure
That's
out
good.
when you looking like if you was to go to the 5-minute time frame in a sense, and you looked at like swing low and swing high, it's like in a sense, what point do you really say, okay, we're not bearish at this point no more, we're not bullish? Because within every time frame there's smaller or bigger ranges, and that bigger range in general on a 5-minute or 4-hour or 1 hour, it all has a major structure point. So at what point when it breaks, which ones actually changes the trend?
Yeah. So
Name is what I was trying to figure out right there, Elvis.
Sometimes you might not be in a position to even guess a bias. That's why I say on stream all the time. Like sometimes how I say I don't know what's gonna happen here because it's just in the range, right? So what I'll be waiting for is where we break out, and if you break out, how are we breaking out? How are those candles closing outside the ranges? Do we still need liquidity to drive up? Do you still need liquidity to drive down? Right. Sometimes it just doesn't form it, and that's like that. Like this, for instance, like I don't know what's gonna happen here, right? I'll be like, okay, well, we are currently in, there's some type of resistance here, some type of support here. This is the range that you're in. So if the markets are showing me that that's the range you're in, I'll probably drop down to the 15 or something because this looks a little too messy. I'll go down to the...
Let me ask a question before you change right there, Don, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And I maybe I'm just slow, but in a sense, but this line I draw here, right? That's the last little support before the push up in a sense, right? So you get this, and then you get here, you get a break of the highs. So we kind of here, I guess, in a sense, but then you get a low here. Now you coming down, you got a new low, and I guess reiterating the same question is, am I still bullish because I haven't broke this point, or am I still bullish because I haven't broke this point?
Technically, you're still bullish. Like the structure, you're still above the zones here, so you are still bullish. But are you looking for buys now?
Gotcha.
What are you looking for? Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
But the structure, it remains.
But
the same.
I base that off the 4-hour and the daily time frame, far as if I'm looking for buys or sells, in a sense. But in general, I'm probably gonna be bullish, so I'll just be looking for it to make supports and grab liquidity to push up and buy back to the top of the range.
Yeah. You want to see candles closing, respecting some type of minor support, right?
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that's the minor support that 0x in a sense of when to use it and not use it. Okay.
Yeah. Like in this case, like the current example we're in on the 5, I'll drop down up to the 30 because it's the same range. But I'll be like, okay, well, if this is my resistance up here, right? And then this is my current support down here, right? This is the range we're kind of playing in. I would assume that you're going to continue to fill the range, right? But before filling the range, you might need liquidity. You might or might not need it. You might or might not get it, is what I mean, right? You might or might not get it. But if you were to come down and create a bottom wick, let's say something like this, I'll say things like, if price were to drive down, I'll look for buys on the flip. So if price magically were to come down, break the lows here, and it were to flip bullish, I'll take buys on the flip to go up to filter range because you're still bullish, right? So I'll put myself in that position to wait for those setups.
And you should get a bottom wick candle at least at that support that it created before flipping back. They closed above too on that next candle drive. You can look for that wick entry as well on that push up if you want, or take the flip of that candle. Yeah, I'm here, buddy. I'm here.
Glad it helped. All right.
Kieran pasted one somebody from the YouTube chat's question in the Zoom chat.
Karen
How
asked
long
the
are you staying?
question.
Oh wait, hold on. So, who asked the first question?
I think he's copying someone's question maybe out of YouTube, but it was Karen. Where do
Yeah, if you
you
go to
want to
Zoom
see
chat.
liquidity get taken from?
Or who asked that question, Kieran?
Some random in the chat, but
In-
Kieran pasted it in.
Oh, okay. So let me find it. I might. Where do you want to see liquidity get taken? Okay, so where do I want to see liquidity be taken? Usually it's support and resistance. Support and resistance, liquidity are all the same thing. It's the same shit. It's liquidity, wick entries, support and resistance. It's all the same things, right? I identify them as the same thing. But basically, in this case, like if I were to, for instance, be on the 4-hour time frame in this case, right? I'll be like, okay, first step is just to identify your ranges. Resistance here, cool. Support there, cool. Straightforward, right? That's the range that we are currently playing in. Now, I wouldn't be like, okay, is it time to buy now or time to sell now? That's not what I'm asking myself. I'm asking myself, if I were to get buys going up, what would need to happen before I take buys going up? If I were to take sales going down, what would need to happen if I were to, for sales to come down, right? So if I were to look for buys going up now in that situation, I'll be like, okay, well, first of all, I would prefer if we can close above this range. Because if you close above the range, that's an indication that you're headed to the upside. So step one, that will kind of pivot the direction towards the bullish side. Now, what else do I need now? I need liquidity. I need a bottom wick. So in this case, if this is an overall zone and this is like your most recent support resistance, I'll assume that that's the level you'll see price create a bottom wick gap before driving up. So I'll wait for a candle to come down, tap that zone. Once it taps 64, I have two options: take a wick entry up, or take a flip on a buy once it comes up towards here instead, right? But overall, you're assuming that'll be the bottom wick area for price to drive up to fill the range. Just because that's your most recent support and resistance. In some cases as well, I might be in a situation to also, let's say if this is my support, this is my resistance, I might look left, and it might look left to see what levels that you've rejected off of in the past quite a bit. So I'll look at maybe like, I'll look left to right, I'll scan like here, wicks there, there's some wicks here, some wicks down here, some wicks up here, some wicks here, some wicks here, right? So I'll be like, okay, well, roughly the area that you're looking at for bottom wicks is probably gonna be like 1968. So go back to the current charts. I'll remove all of these things now, and I'll be like, okay, well, if I'm looking for a bottom wick on price, once it closes above the range, I would like to see a 68 level get tapped, and then I'll look for, again, wick entries there, or take the flip and buys up. But that's what I'll do. In this case, I guess it wicked down towards 64, right? So we would have had a bit of drawdown, but I'm admitting it. That would have been a drawdown we would have had 4 pips probably. If we were to be in position to look for bottom wicks there, that's what we would have been caught in. Anywhere from 68 to 64 would have been a nice bottom wick, just because that's the most recent support and resistance. Make sense? And if you're going to 1 hour structure as well, you're going to see, like me and Elvis like to refer to it as looking naked. If it looks naked, it probably needs a bottom wick. Like in this case, like this is the range we're in. It looks very naked down here. There's no wicks being tapped into, and if price were to drive up, it will likely need a bottom wick, right? So I'm looking left here. I'm looking at probably like this area, and this area. I'll be okay, cool. Bottom wick areas could be anywhere in this zone, right? And in this case, it came down, tapped it, and that's where my buys would be. But yeah, that will likely require a lot more examples because it's not as like straightforward. What else you guys got? We have like maybe 15 minutes left, maybe 10. What do you think, Elvis? What else do you think we're missing?
I don't mind.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah,
you
of
know.
course.
Right here on the same chart that you have, just in a concept of the liquidity that you was just explaining when you said it looks negative. So if you get,
What was I on? The 4?
Oh no, go back.
Oh, the
Right
1.
there. Yes, they're right there. So if you get this push up right here, so you get resistance right here. But if you see this candle here that came and tapped into this support, is that classified as liquidity? Because I guess I'll show you another example with this candle here pushing up back into this support and then driving away in a sense. Or is this major like big candle is what you classify as liquidity? Because like I see right here, there was nothing tapping into this area. So I know based off like just where my brain's at right this second, I know realistically nothing that's happening that's driving up on this last candle that I marked. I know there should be some type of candle coming in here tapping to create the final drive up. So I could sit here and wait for a wick entry here, take this little drawdown. But I know overall, I needed something to touch here because there was nothing there. Is that liquidity? Is that like a liquidity grab versus like over here when this candle comes back into that area to now push away, or vice versa? Is this,
it might be liquidity, because liquidity, like what you see here, like what you see right here is basically this entire thing is this wick on a different time frame. So you might see a couple of candles on the 1 hour time frame. Like for instance, like you might see this forming on the 1 hour time frame, but you go on the daily, all of that on the 1 hour is just one bottom wick on the higher time frame scale, right? So yes, this could be liquidity, but on a different time frame, maybe the daily or 4 hour. Let's go into 4 hour daily. I'm pretty sure I lost
got what you're saying.
You know what I mean though?
Yeah. On a different time frame, it definitely could be.
Yeah, because going back to that, right? It's like going back to just like 101s. I'm sure you've seen this example plenty of times, but when you have like for instance, if you were just break down a general candle like this on the 4 hour, you might see a wick fill in the 4 hour time frame, but on the 1 hour time frame, it's not one candle, it's 4 candles. So you might see a candle looking like this, then a candle looking like that, then a candle looking like this. But then, since you have a wick there, you might see a candle coming down like this, and that might be how it looks, right? So as that's happening on a smaller time frame, it's just a range form, and as you fill that wick on the 4 hour time frame going up, you're just printing support to drive up, right? So then you're asking, okay, well, yeah, you're going back to your question. You're like, well, is this a bottom wick, or is this liquidity here, or is this liquidity down here? But yeah, it's just liquidity on a small time frame.
No, I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, chat? Anything else you guys want me to go through here?
How long is staying?
Maybe like, I don't know, maybe like another 5-10 minutes, depending on what chat. Amarillo tagged me. What did he tag me in? What did he tag me in? I don't know what he tagged me in. He tagged me in the video, the ritual. Yeah, because I made a comment on his page saying, yeah, he bought the center, right? So I'm like, yeah, I want to see you play the Meek Mill song, because he always plays it when he gets his new whip. So I guess he just tagged me while playing the song somewhere here.
Oh, fair.
Fair.
That we play in any new car, and especially for the Senna that I've wanted for years and worked so hard for. So many sleepless nights, ups and downs. It's only appropriate.
So I had to grind like that, to shine like this, in a matter of time I spent on some locked up shit.
But he got like 4 cars this year, so he played that song quite a bit of times.
Jesus.
Yeah, congrats to Rule for the new center though. Crazy car. Crazy car.
I think Jacob has a question.
Brian Williams. Yo, Brian Williams, 499. Yo, you are an OG. For chat, Brian Williams, he's been an OG. Wait, is that the right Brian Williams? I don't know if it is, but if it is, then he's been I've known him since maybe 2019. Like, he was in my group when it was called US 30 only. US 30 only. That was my old group. Okay. Jacob had a question?
I think so, yeah.
All right. This might be the last question, chat. I'm not gonna lie to you. Might be the last question. We'll do more on Monday.
I just have a simple question. For the trade on Friday, you would have just put that as you were anticipating a breakout and then you wick down. So it would just, that was the setup was a breakout and then the entry was the wick entry.
The setup on Friday, let me pull it up.
Yeah, it was breakout wick.
I don't know what we even took on Friday. I'm not gonna lie to you. I
You were
forgot.
looking for
like 4 hour basic breakout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Basic breakout. So yeah, that was just a 4 hour candle flip basically. A couple of years ago, we would have had just a flip as a buy stop, but knowing we know now, we would have seen that bottom wick as liquidity. So therefore, once price kinda came down, tapped into the 9.3 level that we had mentioned, we took a buy. And
okay, so that was gonna go to my second question. How would you determine what was steep enough? But I guess I missed that. So you had just looked left to like where we had support, right?
Yeah. I went like left, and I think I had a couple levels. I had one at 97, and then I had one at 95 or 93. So I think when it came in between 97 and 93, it just spiked down. Usually when it spikes down that quick, likely it'll flip bullish. So I just took a buy off rip for me. But yeah, it had a lot to do with the spawn resistance. It had a lot to do with this rejection to the left and these areas here as well. Yeah, I think I took it around here, right? How much pips did we pip?
Lower it was, but yes.
And
that will affect
somewhere there.
Also,
people understand that.
I think it was Thursday night, me and Elvis, or we had talked about like how we would look for buys above 92. And I was kind of looking for, like, leading up to NY, I was just looking for a liquidity grab towards like at least like 76 or like 80. And we never got that. So for when NFP came, I was thinking like maybe we'll flip down, grab liquidity, and then drive back up. And so when we kind of broke above, I was stuck on like not to take those buys, but like I'm not sure, Elvis. What made you like think, Elvis, to take the buys as soon as we did break out?
So I didn't. I mean,
obviously above 92, but I don't know if that makes sense. That I was just scared that this kind of seemed like we just trickled up. So I was thinking maybe we'll just get that and then flip.
Yeah. So I didn't take the buys above 92. I took it above this level. That line is so straight. Jesus Christ.
Low DPI.
I took it above here because, right, if you're breaking through this entire range, right, and then I'm looking last time you had like this wick here, right, all of these. Last time you just closed above, you tapped into these areas, right? And I'm understanding that if you are really bullish and you don't have any bottom wicks, that maybe this was enough liquidity for us to actually do the push, and it's just a delayed push, right? I am expecting a bottom wick once you tap into these areas for us to retest the highs if you want to. But once it broke this entire structure here and it closed above, this is another range that just got completely filled really quickly. And I was looking for the continuations to go up, and I was like,
you're assuming that this was enough liquidity?
I'm not assuming that this was enough liquidity, but I'm understanding that if you were pushing from here to here and you broke out continuously, right, that means you don't need liquidity to fill this range, right? So there's a high chance you're going to fill the next range before grabbing liquidity to go up.
Okay.
So I was only looking to catch anything from like here to here, and then my stops to break even were like somewhere around like these areas.
Yeah, basically Jacob, like because like Elvis identifies as one range, right? So he's like, okay, well, if this is the range you're in and you're very grab liquidity, there's no reason to break above the highs. But if it does, then that's my indication for buys. So he can get a buy here. He wait for maybe a small time for structure to be created above this range. But once he had a clear direction of that, he took buys above here going up. Me, I didn't take any buys. I was looking for what you're looking for, Jacob. So don't worry. I was looking for a bottom wick here or something like that. So I missed the move as well. But then we took the buys afterwards at on a 4 hour closing.
Yeah, I would say, like, for example, right, if you say you got like a bullish closure like this, right? And then you got a bearish closure, something like this.
Oh man, full margin.
Right? And then after that, you got a bearish closure, like a candle breaking this low, maybe like somewhere in these areas. I'd look to take the flip or the wick entry to go up. And this is above 92, right? But I'm understanding that once you close above 90, like this area, I know the next, like there's a high chance that the next range is going to get filled. So I was just taking advantage of this instead of this range here. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes, yes.
Those big candles. Let me just clear that. Yeah, you can come, like you can ask again later.
It's funny how when you drew that bottom wick area on the second candle, where is it? Oh, you deleted it, but when you drew the bottom wick, I just knew you were gonna draw it right there. I'm like, I knew he's not drawing this zone here, but his wick's 89 here.
Yeah, man. It's like now, even when we just draw the candles, like I think about like 3 or 4 months ago, I was looking at how you were drawing candles, and like I understood that subconsciously, like you're not doing it like, you know, consciously, but you draw the candles and the wicks of certain candles in very specific areas that you don't even know. And I started analyzing that. I was like, okay, so why did he draw the wick exactly at that level? Right. Yeah. There's obviously a reason there, and that's just his years of experience that like makes him want to draw this wick at this level and not like 10 pips high. And once I got that, I was like, yeah, okay, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's about, if you guys can, tune into like every stream, and this doesn't have to be my stream. It could be anyone's stream, right? But just tune into how they draw the support and resistance. As you watch them more often, you'll have a better understanding of how they draw their zones. And then at some point, what you can do is, what a lot of people do, is they do their own analysis before the stream starts while I'm playing my intro. And then once my analysis starts, they try to see if my analysis matches up with theirs, right? If it does, then great. If it doesn't, then you might need more work, or maybe that's just your way of viewing things, and that's okay, right? But that's something you can probably do to improve your support resistance each and every day. Shit, bro, I think that's it. I think that was a wrap for the session. Okay, someone's been asking this question for a lot of times. Let me answer him. He said, Raja said after news events, price will always trace at least 50% of the move. Do you agree? I have seen that happen in the past, but it's not something that I use. Like, I don't look for like a retracement after news all the time, because I go off of what the market currently prints. Each day is different, right? So I'm not gonna say every time it happens it will retrace the move. Like Friday, it retraced 100% of the move, right? But I'm going off of what the market's printing. I'm not going off of what I assume for that day, right? So yeah, it could be true. If you sample size that yourself and you believe that it works, go ahead. By all means, go and look for those trades, right? But for me, I've never applied that myself, so I don't know to answer it. You gotta ask him that. That's his strategy, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll find something in the markets that's similar to that in the future, but
yeah,
we'll see.
A lot of times everyone has their own nuances, right? There's a million of them too. Like Roger trades different from me, I trade different from Q, Wick trades different from Elvis. Like everyone trades differently at the end of the day, right? Everyone has their own way of viewing it, but it's all similar, I'll say, if you're in the same price action territory as traders. All right, chat. I think that's it, man. That's a wrap for that was a good start too. I think we'll definitely do more of these for sure. Shout out to Don Juan for bringing the idea. I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna try to do them every week on a Sunday, once a week around the same time. But again, I'll give you guys a date next week on when I'll do it. But eventually, I'm only gonna do them for the members. But it's just a good way for people to get or at least for me to get the hang of it beforehand. All right, chat. That's it, man.
Analysis later on as well.
Yeah, Sunday analysis. Elvis will do it later on. I'll do mine tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. All right, but yeah, take it easy, yo. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and sub to the channel if you guys did. I think we peaked like 550 viewers during the stream, so I think
that's actually a good number, because any more you're gonna get insane amounts of questions and you just couldn't see anything.
Yes, and also the replay is up too, so you can definitely go back.
Yeah.
And watch it. But yeah, 300 likes, chat. That's good. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'll see you guys Monday morning. Peace out. Love you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, man. Thanks for coming by.
I'll see you on Monday.
Yes. All right, chat. That's it. Love you guys, bro. Take it easy. Have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. I got a hockey game tonight, so hopefully I get a hat trick or something. Enjoy your weekend though, and stay safe, man. Peace out. Love you guys. Actually, no. I'm gonna keep it copyright free. Actually, I'm gonna keep it copyright free, yo. Wait, no, I can't. I played the song already this morning. I can't. Let me go ahead and end it off in a bang, though. Let's see. What could we play? What could we play today? Fiend. Find my demons. I've been playing that song every day. Nah, I'll play something more stream relatable. Ken Carson's too you know, not everyone might like Ken Carson. But I know something that everyone's gonna like though for sure.
It may not mean nothing to y'all, but understand nothing was done for me. So I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine. I'm shutting shit down in the mall and telling that girl she the one for me. And I ain't even planning to call. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine. Last name ever, first name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with. Started off local, but thanks to all the haters, I know G4 pilots on a first name basis. In your city, faded off the brown. Nino, she insists she got more class. We know, swimming in the money, come and find me. Nemo, if I was at the club, you know I balled. Chemo, dropped a mixtape, that shit sounded like an album. Who'd have thought a countrywide tour be the outcome? Labels want my name beside an X like Malcolm. Everybody got a deal, I did it without one. Yeah, nigga, I'm about my business. Killing all these rappers, you would swear I had a hit list. Everyone who doubted me is asking for forgiveness. If you ain't been a part of it, at least you got to witness. Bitches, it may not mean nothing to y'all, understand nothing was done for me. So I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine. I'm shutting shit down in the mall and telling that girl she the one for me. And I ain't even planning to call. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine.
Ever Mr. West is in the building. Ain't no question who about to kill him. I used to have hood dreams, big fame, big chains. I stuck my dick inside his life until that bitch came and went hard all fall like the ball teams, just so I could make it rain all spring. Y'all seen my story, my glory. I had raped the game young. You could call it statutory when a nigga blow up. They gon' build statues for me. Old money, Benjamin Button, what nothing. Super bad chicks giving me McLovin'. You would think I ran the world like Michelle's husband. You would think these niggas know me when they really doesn't. Like they was down with the old me. No, you fucking wasn't. You such a fucking loser. He ain't even go to class, Bueller. Trade the Grammy plaques just to have my granny back. Remember she had that bad hip like a fanny pack. Chasing the star, I'ma turn you to a maniac. All the way in Hollywood and I can't even act. They pull their cameras out and goddamn he snap. I used to want this thing forever, y'all can have it back.
It may not mean nothing to y'all, understand nothing was done for me. So I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine. I'm shutting shit down in the mall and telling that girl she the one for me. And I ain't even planning to call. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine.
Okay, hello, it's the Martian, Space Jam Jordans. I want this shit forever. Wake up and smell the garden, fresher than the harvest. Step up to the.
All right, chat. Peace out, bro. Take it easy, bro. Love you guys.